Chapter 9. The six drone starfighters looked nearly identical. Each was a sleek projectile, little more than an unshielded laser cannon with maneuverable wings and a droid brain, all raced across space like deadly darts, heading straight for the Millennium Falcon. Hans steered the Falcon toward the brightly ringed planet, and then he gunned the sunlight engine. Excuse me. We may not be able to reach light speed, Chewie, Han said, but we can still get those drones a good race. Chewbacca shook his head again and let out a pleading whimper. Sorry, Chewie, Han replied. I can't say I know any pilot who's flown through the 5 fire rings of Fornax and survived, but I can't see any other way to shake these drones. The Falcon's comm was still on, transmitting Han Chewbacca's conversation to Chief Smurdap's shadow. Smurdap said, "You're bluffing." Han laughed. You want what's on your ship? Smurdap, come and get it. Then he flicked off the commune and said, Don't worry, Chewie. I know what I'm doing. Han glanced at the sentry scope. The drone starfighters were coming in fast. The lead drone fighter fired at the Falcon. Laser fire pounded at the freight to deflect the shield. Chewbacca barked with alarm. Han answered, Divert power from the forward deflector shield to the sublight engine. The Wookiee's massive hands darted over the controls, pressing buttons and flipping switches. The Falcon shuddered, then suddenly lurched forward. Han and Chewbacca felt their bodies press back against their seats as the Falcon increased speed. The lone fighters accelerated too. The lead drone fired again. Pew, pew. Buckle up tight, Chewie, and said as he secured his own safety belt. This is gonna hurt. He heard Chewbacca's belt snap into place, then threw a switch to make the Falcon rapidly decrease in speed. Trailing behind the Falcon, the lead drone and a second fighter was still traveling at high velocity. Neither fighter was able to slow down to escape the collision. Both struck and shattered against the freighter's rear deflector shield. The fight bounced at the impact, but the shields held stern. Han? Ha! Han shouted as he gunned the sublight engine and zoomed off, still on course for the rings of Fornax. As the Falcon closed in on Fornax's outermost ring, Han activated the comm unit and said, Did you see that, Smurdap? You just lost 2 starfighters. Want to call the rest off or lose them all in the firings? I still saying you're bluffing, Smurdap's voice crackled over the comm. Your ship is too large to make it through the rings. Have it your way, Han said. He switched off the comm and guided the Falcon into steep dive. The power to forward shields, Chewie. We're going in. Chewbacca groaned as he followed Han's commands, and then the falcon plunged into a brilliant ring. The four remaining drone fighters argued after the falcon. Han ignored his scopes and kept his eyes forward. He swung the falcon over and past the wide, curving belt of hot, gaseous plasma. Chewbacca yelped as the falcon dipped below what appeared to be a wall of blazing dust. In the next instant, four distinct explosions sounded from outside. There goes the drones, Han said. Without deflector shields, they never stood a chance in this heat. Han pulled back on the controls, and the Falcon lifted out of the rings. Now we deal with Smurda, he said, but we do it my way. He made an adjustment to the Falcon's radio transmitter and then switched on the comm. Chewbacca guessed at what Han was about to do and found himself grinning. "Hey, Smurda!" Han said into the comm. "Still want the dress that you stole from the Margrave of Venia?" After a brief silence, Smurda responded with a shuttle. "You know, I want it!" "Swell," Han said. "All you have to do is apologize to me and my furry friend for trying to frame us for your dirty little work." "Is that all?" Smurda answered. "Fine. I'm very, very sorry. I tried to blame you and the Wookiee for stealing the Shima silk gown. Now, how do you propose you hand it over to me?" And said, "I suggest we fly back to Fornax Station. Did you hear that, flight control?" Much to Smurda's surprise, the voice of Fornax Station flight controller replied, "Loud and clear, close shave." The new security chief will be very eager to listen to Smurda's confession. Over the comm, Smurda stammered, he's lying!" "Tell it to the Margrative," and replied from the Falcon. "And before you get any of the ideas about making a run for it, you should know that Chewie and I have our blasters trained on your ship." Chewbacca roared from into the comm. "Sure, Chewie," Han said. "If Smurda tries to escape on the way back to Fornax Station, I'll let you do some shooting." Chapter 10. Margrave of Venia. "We'll see you now," said the protocol droid. "Thanks," Han said. "Come on, Chewie." Chewbacca followed Han into the suit as Fornax Station. Inside, they found her holding the gown. She looked at them and said, "Your ship has been repaired." "Yep," Han said. "And Chief Smurda has been arrested. We were just about to leave." The Margrave tossed the gown into the corner and declared, "The wedding is off." Han and Chewie looked at the priceless dress on the floor, then they lifted their eyes to the Margaret of, know, it's hard to smile and fixed hand with a gaze. Do you know why I called off the wedding? Before Hank could answer, she announced, I have fallen in love with someone else. Good for her. Says, oh, I said, that's nice. I mean, too bad for the other guy, but he is like no one else I've ever met. The Margaret Veen, that's right, Veen, interrupted. Her arm darted out and seized hand on her own. Uh-oh, and looked at the Margaret Veen's hand and politely shook it. I'm sure he's a very special fellow. But see, Chewie here, he was wondering if maybe there might be a reward for the gown. The Margaret did. Her eyes went wide. She yanked her hand back, and then her face flushed with rage, and she began to scream. The hand winced and put his hands over his ears. Chewbacca grabbed his friend and hauled him out of the suit. If you don't know what that is, it's a root. Just like you stay. Just yeah. What is that, my lady? Han said after they returned to the Millennium Falcon. All I did was mention a reward, I tell ya. I'm sorry for the guy she fell in love with. Chewbacca rolled his eyes. Say so long to Farnock Station, Han said. Oh, felt set for the jump back to Tatooine. Hans nodded. Chewbacca nodded. And then barked a question. Sure, the hyperdrive is working, Han said. Watch this. An instant later, the Falcon vanished into hyperspace. And that's the conclusion of Fire Ring Race, narrated by me, but not written. Next week, I will be delving into the second book of Han Solo's and Chewbacca's adventures that are in The Adventures Are in Hyperspace. And on that note, enjoy your day, everyone.